Hey everyone, welcome to another video on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. This is an interesting one. We got a bit of news this morning that the president, Mark LoGuidice, announced that he'd be stepping down as president of the Carlton Football Club at the conclusion of the 2021 season. Now, a lot of quick reactions have been made to this, and it was a bit of a shock to me, to be honest. I don't think any of us saw it coming. I mean, that's probably the way it's going to be with such decisions. I don't think the fans really know the full story of what's going on behind closed doors. And for the most part, that's generally how it is and how it should be. But I just wanted to, I guess, put a video together and share some of my thoughts on the issue and get some of your thoughts as well as to what it means. Because we spoke about on Monday what, this week meant for us. Obviously, a massive game against the Bombers, with a lot on the line and a little bit of fear as to what could happen, if we don't come out victorious and who would need to take accountability. We spoke about, which distraction is going to be used this week by the club. I don't necessarily know if this is a distraction, but it is definitely something that's taking us away from the game this week and from the footy. And I don't know which way to look at it. Is this a positive or a negative? From my understanding, I thought he was re-elected at the start of this season after a challenge. So for him to step down is very interesting. But I think the overall message that I wanted to get out of this video was, I guess, my experience with Mark. And, I haven't really told this story much because I didn't think it needed to be said. But just to give an insight as to the kind of Carlton man that he is. I remember last year when we did the fundraising stream, the AFL Evolution 7-hour stream, and we played some FIFA as well. And he called me the night before. He didn't need to call me. I think someone had passed on an email from me, and he saw my number in my signature, and he called me and he spoke to me for 45 minutes. And I think prior to that, I had not really had an opinion of him. I didn't really hear much from him. But after that phone call and after the time he was willing to give up and talk about the club in a really open and honest way, I realized that, the kind of Carlton that he is. And it's interesting because at the end of the day, he leaves behind with him a legacy of the leader of the football club in terms of being the president, who led us out of the financial shithole that we were in. Because let's be honest, that's what it was. And I understand that now we're all starting to really focus in on winning games of football and what's happening on the field. But, there is a reality to the situation that off-field success it does need to be, a priority. Whether we like it or not, this is a business. Whether we believe that the club focuses too heavily on finances is another conversation, but we were in a massive hole, and to leave behind the legacy that he has now left in terms of getting us out of the debt that we were in, because it was pretty grim. We all know how grim it was, and if you don't, you probably need to go back and read through the history and what had happened with the club. That's something that's very noble, and the ability to, let's be honest, 2015, the change of direction, the decision to go to a full rebuild, he well and truly knew that he would have to live through, some dark days on the field. And so to be able to still carry through the role, knowing that the on-field success was likely to not come until afterwards, is tough, because it's tough to sit in the firing line and cop the criticism, but still plugging along. And that's something that I'll always remember him as a president by. And I think some of the commentary around him and the board, and I understand we're all wanting accountability, and I totally agree with that. But I think what needs to never be forgotten is to how much of an impact he's had. And I can personally 100% vouch for, he as a Carlton man and, what the club means to him. Like, he really didn't need to take time out of his day to call me. I'm a nobody. I don't really have any standing at this club or whatnot. I'm just a regular fan, just like everyone watching this. So I think it needed to be said. I think we need to show some respect. But at the same time, the direction of the football club, I think, now can finally 100% turn to winning on the field. And that's probably something we needed to cop because of the hole that we were in after the salary cap issue. And to have the financial stability is fantastic, and to have the redevelopment is great, and the facilities that are coming are great, but there's no use having them there if we can't fill up the new facility with premiership cups, because that's really what this is all about. Now, as to the the new president that's going to step in, Luke Sayers, I don't really know what to make of it as well. The former CEO of PwC, for me, my first reaction was, great, another businessman. I would love to know. I mean, he's what he's done in sport in terms of helping sporting organisations win. I don't really know much about him. I don't really know much about what he's done winning games in sport. But obviously he comes from a prestigious background and whatnot. The fact that he was CEO of PwC speaks largely to what he's obviously capable of. But my first reaction was, it would be great to have somebody, who's a footy president, because I think Kane Little is very much the business of the club at the moment, and he does a very good job, and he's proven to have had business success in sport and outside of sport as well. So that was my first reaction, but again, very naive, not knowing the full story of what Luke brings and what he will bring. But I think there's going to be a lot of pressure, and so there should be. This is the Carlton Football Club, and the standards of on-field success are now well and truly being driven by the fans, and it's very interesting. So yeah, I wanted to give a bit of a take on that and start the conversation about what happened this morning, and just gather your thoughts as to what does it all mean to you. How do you feel about it? Do you think that something's brewing? Because I've heard some commentary about something's brewing internally, and it just was a bit of a shock to everyone. It was definitely a shock to me, and I don't know what's happening beneath the surface. In the span of a week, we've added a mentor to our coach as a consultant from interstate, and we've also now been alerted to our president stepping down, and things are changing. So let me know what you think. What's happening? What are you seeing? And we'll chat about it a little bit more in the comments. So we'll go from there. Go the Mighty Blues.